Welcome to the Christ Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Calvin, and I am here with a couple fellas today. You probably already seen the girls episode, so we are here with the men today to talk about relationships. So let's start. Let's jump right into it. Tell me who you are and how long you've been in a relationship.
Yes, sir. So what's going on, Calvin?
What's up, Jay?
We've been friends, what, 8, 7, 9?
It's been
a while.
like a decade.
It's been a while, man. Yeah, Jordan Richardson. I've been in a relationship going on 2.5 years now.
Okay.
Emmanuel Entry, also known as Iman, 4 years now.
That's the one I'm always calling my brother, by the way, in the episodes. Yeah, that's E.
Julian, I've been in a relationship for a year.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah.
So I'm not holding y'all up today. So we're gonna jump right into this. I want to know, what was the moment that you knew that this was the person for you?
Ooh.
Was it a moment? Was it like a time span that you encountered where you were like, okay, I don't need to look anymore. This is her. By the way, I'm the only single man at the table, so I'm getting wisdom right now.
For me, it sounds cliche, but it was just like, it was the first date.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt very natural.
Love at first sight?
Huh?
Love
I
at
guess.
first sight?
No, it wasn't first sight, but
Okay.
first meet. You know,
Yeah.
I don't believe in love at first sight.
Yeah.
It was, I see
Way
you,
to
I
bail
love you.
yourself out of that one. I almost got
Nah.
you in trouble.
It was our first date was very like just natural, and just like it was unlike anything I've ever like felt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just knew on the first date.
I think it was before we even started like talking seriously. Like, I think so. It's funny because I just got on campus, right, and I was going to check on a friend I went to school with, Audric, and they were all like in the dorm room and they were talking. It was like a bunch of girls, a bunch of guys, and looked at her and I just kept on staring at her and I was just like, she's crazy, she's beautiful, I like it, right? And so I think from there I was just like, yeah, nah, I don't care. I'm gonna do everything in my power because that's the one, right?
Yeah.
Type of thing, yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, it was completely different for me. Y'all both seemed like y'all just knew off the bat. Like, oh,
Yeah.
man. I think we were probably about 4 to 6 months into our relationship,
Mhm.
and we were going back and forth, a lot of hardships, trying to get to know each other. We were two type A personalities trying to come together, so it's a lot of clashing.
Ooh.
A lot of clashing, and I think it was just knowing we can get through that. I'm like, there's nothing this life can't stop us. So
Yeah.
I think that was the moment. I was just like, she's the one.
Okay.
She's the
She's
Bonnie
the
to your Clyde.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like it.
That missing puzzle piece.
nice.
Ooh, the
Yeah.
queen to your Slim. Ooh.
I'm looking for that
Still haven't
last
seen that.
Thanos ring for my glove. I'm looking for. The approach. I want to talk about the approach. How did you interact with her in the beginning? What was it like? Did you just approach her? Was it like a event or a gathering and you kind of just started talking? What was it like?
Actually, I like telling the story all the time.
Okay.
She gets mad at me out because she doesn't like the perspective I give. But so the first time I met my current girlfriend, it was 2019. It was summer 2019. I'll never forget the day. Because I was going to meet a current business partner of mine, and she just happened to be there. And the business partner I was going to meet, I had never met before.
Mhm.
I had just met her husband. And he told me, like, you're going to be meeting my wife today. She's going to be there. I'm like, okay, cool. So I show up at the event, and I don't know what she looks like. I don't have her number yet. And I'm looking at my current girlfriend. I'm like, oh, that looks like it's her because she had a whole bunch of people around her.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like in my defense, I was probably staring, and she just mean mugged the mess out of me. I was like, oh, this can't be her. And then I ended up finding my business partner, and me and her in business together, and it took us a while to get to know each other because it was a lot of brief interactions, and a lot of it was just hostile interactions. It was playful hostile, but it was still hostile there.
Yeah.
And I think when we first started dating, it all came because I started doing a interview for our business. We did an interview at my house, and it was kind of just like a one-on-one time. We finally actually got to talk and get to know each other.
Mhm.
And I think that's really changed a lot, was just us getting to know one another.
Yeah.
Made a huge difference.
Wow. Wow.
So part of my approach, so we met in college, and we met on a dating app actually. But it was actually right down the street from each other.
You want to say which app it was or no?
Tinder. Yeah.
You,
Doesn't have the best rep.
you
but,
young folk.
yeah. So as far as my approach, I was just very straightforward about everything from the
Mhm.
jump. Picked her up, took her to Dave and Buster's, and I think it's just really fun. I think for getting to know somebody, it should just be very fun and laid back, and just kind of getting someone out of their comfort zone and doing things that you guys both like, having fun, laughing is the best way to get to know someone, I think. So I took her there, played her some good music on the ride. Um, just wanted to see how she is having fun and just being loose and not being so, not like an interview. Like I don't want to sit down and take her to dinner and just like sit
Right.
across from each other and just like interview each other. So
Yeah.
I wanted to just go at it like just trying to get to know a friend, and I felt like she could be my friend. And then but I was attracted to her, so
Yeah.
it was just from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't be just friends.
Yeah.
It's like Lay's. You can't eat just one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I want to talk about you as men. When you first got into your relationships, did you feel like you were a good enough man at that point to be in a relationship, a committed relationship? Do you feel like it took getting into that relationship to get you to that point? And if so, like, how did your significant other help you start to become a better man?
So getting into the relationship, I was like, in my head, I was still going through like the healing process of the little high school relationship I had gotten out of, right?
Yep.
Just being able to trust and like, break down my wall, right? Like it was like I've built back up this wall. I can't break it down again, right?
Yeah.
I can't be vulnerable. I can't show affection. I don't know how to show affection. Like it was a lot of things that were going through my head when we got into the relationship. I was just like, but I was like, I'm ready for whatever, right? Hopefully we can figure out what needs to be done. But I know right now I'm not gonna be the perfect one for you, right? Eventually I'll get there. And I think I'm doing a great job. My shoulders right a little bit, but yeah, it was tough in the first stages, right? Communication was the number one thing
Mhm.
that bothered me because I died. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
you speak different language now,
right?
like,
And it's different between guys because, like, me and you, we can talk to each other with very few words.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just by the
Yeah.
sense of a look,
Right.
right? And then it's I sound like a sim, like
Right.
it's dripping new. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can answer that straight up. It was a strong no for me.
Mhm.
I was just coming out of a relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it at that point. And I had a lot of negative things that I still was healing from.
Yeah.
And I picked up some positive traits that made me a better boyfriend, a better man at the time, but I wasn't the man she deserved at that moment.
Yeah.
And she was just willing to stick it out with me, be patient with me. And now we're in a much better place. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of it's just us being able to grow. She's really helped me with my faith journey. And I think that's made our relationship even stronger
Wow.
because she was already further along her faith journey. She was a lot stronger, a lot more equipped than I was. And I came to that relationship just feeling like a heathen. It was bad. And I was like, I don't know if this is right. Are you sure God put you in this relationship?
Right.
Because she was just so much further along, but she took the time and the patience, and she gave me the grace to be able to grow
Yeah.
into the person that she needed me to be.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Amen.
for me, I would say, I think I was ready to get into a relationship. Before this relationship, I had never been in a serious relationship. So my whole life's just been me working on myself. Like everything I've done in my life has been to become a better man, just even at a young age. And so I just knew that I was ready to commit to someone. So going into it, I was just ready, and I went into it with, I didn't have any like goals. Like, okay, this is gonna be my wife. But it's just like, okay, if she's the one, if this is the one that I feel, then I'm ready and I'm gonna give it my all.
Mhm.
And as far as her helping me, she definitely helped me in my faith journey as well. I've always believed in God. I've always had a good relationship with him, but I didn't have a personal relationship with him
Yeah.
until I met her. So she helped me. And I'm still developing a better personal relationship with God. So she's helped me with that.
Yeah.
And I think we both have different things that we're good at and different things that we're not good at. So we kind of help to balance each other. And in the beginning, I helped her you know, certain things, and then she helped me with certain things, and is still doing that to this day.
She's like that missing piece.
Yeah.
Shout out Bree.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the ladies spoke about it right last episode, right, about we're individuals, but at the end of the day we come together to make a team, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, sports, right.
Yeah,
We have all, you have a specific role, right? You have a specific role to come together, right, do one thing and, you know, win. I think that's how you should walk into your relationship. Like, okay, I'm an individual, you're an individual, but how can we use our certain skills, assets, right, to build this team together so we can win against the whole world?
Absolutely.
Right.
And there's something like in the workplace they call cross training. So you train for other positions even though that's not your position. And I think in relationships, that's a big part. Although you may not have that role, you should know how to fill it if necessary. Because there's going to be times where your significant other falls short or vice versa. And you guys need to fill in for one another in those areas, whether it be empathy, whether it be, you know, trust or anything at all, just being able to fill in. But yeah, you guys were talking about how your significant others have kind of boosted who you are as a man. And it made me think of something that happened literally yesterday. So we were at the graduation yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And my niece was there. So my niece is a little over 1 year old. And this was the first time I've ever been out in, not public, but in a place where there were so many people. And she was there. And we were walking through the crowd. And I realized how focused I was. And I went up to my dad and I was like, it's crazy how protective I am right now because my niece is here now. And I want to talk to that because a big part of being a man is feeling like you need to be able to protect your significant other, your family, whatever the case is. Do you find yourself being more protective, not only with your significant other, but in other parts of life because that part of you has been activated, so to speak?
Yeah.
It's like a warrior mindset. Like, get the, like, you just start staring, right? Watching. Like, well, we like to eat, so we go out to eat a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like I want to watch the door. But
Never send your back to the door.
Yeah.
Ever.
So I'm like, I want to watch the door, so I'll sit there and I'm just watching anybody that even like you're trying to get to your table, but you bumped her. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Like, are you okay?
Right.
Like, I don't care. Walk around. Like, it's like it just turns on, and every little thing could become a problem real quick because it's like it's you over her, and I pick her all the time. So
every single time.
So it's like I don't know. You get very overprotective. I want to say overprotective. You just get really locked in.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like you're just kind of on the edge all the time.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and there was an example. We went to King's Dominion for like the Halloween thing, and part of the job is to go up scaring people. So they go up touching people and stuff like that. And one of the people that came up to her and like grabbed her on the shoulder, and I was just like,
first off, buddy, you just messed up.
Yeah. I was not having it, and so I kind of like pushed him a little bit. I shouldn't have did it, but kind of pushed him, and then the cop came up to me and was like talking and all that. But I wasn't feeling it, and kind of realized right there. I was just like, anytime someone looks at her in a certain kind of way, I'm always like looking at people. It's like, so
Bro,
I don't know. It's just like
that's so real.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think it happens more when in a group setting than opposed to when it's just
For sure.
when it's just two of us. Because definitely in a group setting, I'm always heads on a swivel at all times. It's just natural.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally. I'm not even trying to do it. And she asked me about it, like, what do you do? What are you looking at?
I was just gonna say sometimes it can seem like we're zoned out or somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't. I was trying to make sure somebody didn't come stab you or something.
Right. You feel
Yeah,
me?
and, like,
I've watched Taken too many times. I'm just
Right.
movies
locked
get
in.
they really make you think about everything. Oh, and it's crazy because we've joked about it. I'm almost like, you know, when you become a husband, you become a father, like you're expected to protect everybody in your family,
Yes.
no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the situation is. And like, if there's something in the house and you hear a noise, you the first person got to go check it out.
Mhm.
Right. And I'm just like,
Can we go together? No. Okay. Like, I'll go get my stick. But first, I'm gonna check. Like, you don't want to go?
Right?
Yeah. We a
No.
team.
Okay.
It's together.
Big bad bear. I'm a big bad bear.
But it's crazy because it just comes naturally.
Yeah.
It's not something that you really had to develop. It's just
It just turns on.
it's an
It's
internal
innate.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's at times it can be terrifying because you can snap in a minute,
Yeah.
and it can be completely unwarranted,
Right.
and then you end up getting yourself into more trouble, but you're doing it out of a place of love and care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought it up, because yesterday it kind of scared me so much, because the thoughts that were going through my head, I was like, I might like do something to somebody if they try to, touch my niece or something. But yeah. And I think that kind of goes back to being biblical in a way, because the scripture speaks about, there's a scripture about the woman submitting to her husband, and it goes on to say we are to love them as Christ loved the church. Well, Christ died for the church. He paid the ultimate price, the ultimate sacrifice. And you have to be willing to do that when you're in a committed relationship as a man. That's part of your biblical duties as a man. So next thing I want to get into, I want to talk about moms for a second, because TD Jakes once said that, how did he say it? Family is the gym that love works out in. And I think a lot of, as a man, how you learn to be empathetic and get in touch with your feelings is your relationship with your mother. So I want to talk about, what's your relationship to your mom, and how do you think that's played a role in your current relationships?
I mean, I'm very close to my mother.
Yeah.
I've always been known as like a mama's boy. Like, I've always been close to and a lot of people use that as like a thing to insult somebody. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my mother. Like, of course I'm going to want to be close to her at all times.
Right.
But a lot of the things I've always heard is the woman you end up with has a lot of similarities to what your mom has.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look, and I've always had that in the back of my mind when it comes to me and my girlfriend. I'm like, is she really like my mom that much? And I'm like, dang, my mom do be doing all that stuff. So it's crazy how much the similarities just come out. But
Yeah.
it's also, my mom's just kind of showed me what it's like to treat a woman properly.
Absolutely.
And I think if you don't treat your mother properly, you're not gonna be able to treat your girlfriend, your wife properly as well. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest relationship any man can have in his life, is the relationship he has with his mother.
Yeah.
So not so much my mother, right? Don't really have much of a relationship with my mother as much, just because I haven't really been around her much. But my sisters, right?
Okay.
My 3 crazy wacky sisters out. They like watching their relationships, watching how they love me, watching how they love their significant others, made me realize like, this is what a woman needs. This is what a woman wants to see. This is what I want in a woman, right? This is what I don't want in a woman, right? I think being able to grow up with them and watch how they interacted with their significant others helped me to understand how to love a woman, right?
Yeah.
How to be there for them, how to that protective aspect, just I don't know, like,
yeah,
just being there, right? But like how to be there.
Yeah, for me, it's like my relationship with my mom and my relationship with my cousins. I have 2 cousins, they're girls, and I grew up with them. And every summer we go to New York, and I'd basically spend the whole summer with them for my whole life, essentially.
Wow.
And so just hanging out with them really showed me, first of all, like when you grow up with girls in your house, you naturally become, I guess, more softer and in touch with your feelings, because, girls are like that. So you have to adapt to that situation. And so I just learned how to treat them. I just learned to give them the respect and treat them the way I would want to treat my girlfriend and my wife.
Yeah.
And same thing with my mom. Always treating her with respect, trying to be there for her as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I was always the one who would like stay back and hang out with my mom. My brothers would go out. And so it's just all about respect and giving them that time and attention, and paying attention to their feelings is big for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, growing up, I was definitely a daddy's boy. I wanted to be just like Pops. He was a police officer. He was the pastor at the church. I wanted to be just like CB is what we used to call him. Then as I got older, something crazy happened and it just completely switched and I became a mama's boy. And, you know, I talk to her about stuff that I don't talk to other people about. So I share dreams with her. Her and I both have crazy dreams and we share dreams and we talk all the time. And before the podcast, she was the only person I could have a conversation longer than an hour with. Before that, it was pretty short most of the time with people. Y'all probably know that. But how God has used my mother in my life is kind of crazy. I was just thinking about it the other night. This summer when I first came back here, walks became a big part of my life. Just taking a walk to think, you know, listen to music, whatever the case is, just to kind of keep me steady. And part of my walks is usually talking to my mom. So I'll just stroll and we'll talk for about an hour every day. Well, before that, I had no real conversation skills. But then talking to my mother every day on the phone for an hour prepared me for something
Like this. Yeah.
Yep.
Nah,
yeah.
not fat.
And it's just crazy how God works like that sometimes. So yeah, I think I'm definitely a mama's boy now. And I think my dad's okay with that. He's good. Yeah, he'll have to get over it. Yeah.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, growing up, daddy's boy, whatever you call it.
Yep.
And then,
Because like
Whatever you
say, daddy, I don't feel like daddy's boy's like
I don't
the right
like
word.
how do you say that?
Me and my dad were really close, and it's not a daddy's boy type of thing.
is
Like
like
yeah.
he treated me like his little brother. Like
Yeah.
he didn't treat
I would
me
say
like
it was
a
more
son.
like a role model.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to be like
Right,
he,
right, right.
Yeah.
like he was, yeah.
So growing up and becoming more of a mama's boy, it's kind of tying into like your relationship status. Do you think your relationship with your mother now has kind of given you a standard that you haven't found yet? Because you kind of have gotten that closer relationship.
Bars.
That's a question right there.
My mother's a hard woman to live up to. I'm just gonna be honest.
Mhm.
Yes, she did set the standard. That's a good one. That's a good one. I would say yes, she did set the standard, a good standard, and I have faith that God is He's going to provide somebody who can meet that standard. So yeah,
Sure.
she definitely set the standard for sure. But not just her, my sister as well.
Mhm.
I'm surrounded by extremely strong women. I cannot have a woman that's
Weak.
yeah. I can't. I have too strong of a personality, and I've seen too many strong women around me. So
And I feel like mama gonna weed it out of her
Yeah.
quick. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, for
you're
sure.
not the one. Like
Right.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said before on the episode that we did at the live event, I made a promise that I would never bring a woman around my family until she was the one. And part of that reason is for me, but the other part of it is I know my sister and my mother.
yeah.
If I bring the wrong one around, it's
Shade.
not gonna last.
Shay
very
definitely
long.
gonna
So,
cut it out.
yeah, shame.
Sunday too. Sunday now. She got
Yeah.
Sunday gonna look at
Shout out Sunday. She gave us the fits yesterday, the
Man.
whole time.
like if you're just hungry, just tell us.
Yeah.
Like you need to do all that.
I love my baby though. Okay. I'm just looking at my notes. Bear with me.
Go ahead.
So I got a good one for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What are your core values? And another way to ask that question is, if somebody gets you, what do they get?
Family, loyalty, commitment.
I like that.
That's what I live my life by.
I like that.
Hardworking, intellectual curiosity,
Mhm.
and loyalty. Oh, and a lot of respect, right?
Yeah.
I'm heavy on respect. But yeah, those are my core values.
Understanding, respect, creativity, and I don't know if this is a word, but just like not taking your life so serious. Just
Yeah.
like just being able to be laid back and just enjoy the life that we're living right now
Right.
and living in the moment, I guess. Presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Also
I'll
faith.
answer that.
I didn't add faith.
Yeah.
I meant
I feel like that was
I meant to
kinda
put that. I didn't know,
universal.
I didn't
Like,
know if it was
yeah,
interpreted
yeah,
or not. But I'm like, let me
yeah, I
just go
think
ahead and
that
throw
was-
that out there.
All of us.
So I think faith comes with the intellectual curiosity for me. And what I meant by intellectual curiosity is just being able to have those deep conversations when we get into faith,
Right.
when we get into spirituality, right? Like just having those deep conversations. Like if we can't hold a conversation where we can bounce off ideas off each other and then also just find out things that we want to find out, then like it's just like,
Yeah.
because I'm that person and that's really important to me.
Absolutely.
Right.
Faith is in that, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you get when you get Cal?
Get a lot.
You get a
Very.
protector. You get a provider. You get someone who is willing. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to understand.
Never let anybody pay for anything.
Never.
All right. You get somebody who's committed to the process. You get somebody who's disciplined. You get somebody who's been through a lot, and I understand that other people have been through a lot. You get somebody who's very skillful in a lot of different areas. I do that purposely, so when I do have a family, I can fill whatever gap is needed.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's what you get when you get. Yes.
I got a question. Just to
What's
follow up on the last thing you said.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to just having a lot of traits,
Mhm.
does everybody do that? Because I feel like I've been doing that a lot more as I've gotten older. I've been trying to learn a lot more different things in different areas,
Right.
just so when the time does come, you know, that family is around,
Yes.
I can be of use.
Yeah, I think like it's a lost art, right? And my friend Lupin always talks about like, oh, we're losing recipes, and I'll sit back there and laugh, and we're all laughing, but I'm looking at the trajectory
There it is.
of how things are going, right? And I'm just like, yeah, for real, like people don't know how to change tires now. Like they have to go straight to YouTube to do that. People don't know how to like do certain things. And I'm just like, bro, like
Yeah.
our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles, like all knew how to. They didn't need to call somebody to
Everything.
do it, right? So it's like it's little things that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am watching YouTube because I want to know how to do it,
Yeah.
Right.
and teach my son so he doesn't have to call on anyone. Bars. Come on now.
I see what you did.
Come on now.
I see what you did.
Hey.
What you got, Julie?
I think I need to do a better job in learning more stuff. But but I mean by stuff I mean like little small things like fixing things and stuff like that. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to the younger generation. And I'm not using that as an excuse, but I think we are a very different generation than our parents.
For sure.
And so
100%.
their generation, they came up and they just had to fix everything. You know what I'm saying? I think this was a generation after slavery. And so their job was to fix society. They tried to fix everything, and they did a good job.
For sure.
Pretty good. And right now we're in a generation where things have been fixed. Not really, they've been fixed, but now we're trying to use our creativity to
Make it easier.
to evolve this generation. And we're using technology a lot, and a lot of people in this generation are just losing like handy skills because they're just on their phones and they're on the internet. And so we're not really learning
Tiki-taki.
things, but we have the access right at our fingertips to learn everything. So,
Right. I always think about this story with my dad. One day I called him and I said, Dad, I'm outside the house. I'm trying to drive the truck somewhere and the headlight's out. What am I supposed to do? He said, all right, walk outside. I walk outside. I'm on the phone. He said, all right, where you at? I said, I'm in front of the truck. Where the headlight at? He said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to hit it. I said, what? He said, hit it. And I was like, Dad, the headlight's out. He was like, hit it. And I hit it and it popped back on.
wow.
And he was like, it's probably just a short. They do that sometimes. And it's just like those small things, like y'all said.
Yeah.
So now anything I can learn how to do, I'm trying to do it. Like, yeah. So let's talk about that. What skills do y'all have? What do y'all
Man,
do?
Calvin, how many times did we start a business when we were younger, man? we went out and shoveled the snow. We went out trying to cut people's grass. Now I'm looking at my nephew and he afraid of a lawnmower. Like, come on, bro.
Man.
Bro, I used to sell teddy bears to my friends at my house for 25 cents.
Telling you,
Hustling.
we was hustling like anything. Like, oh, we don't even know how to build a stand or a tree house. We just gonna explore and want to do it.
Yeah.
Without looking at a video
Yeah.
or anything, right? Like I feel like those skills are lost right now. Like the ability to go get your own money, no get rich schemes, no nothing. Like go out there and do it. Go get it. Like
Just learn it.
This past snow week, like I did not see any kids out there trying to make a quick buck just for shoveling. Cause I'm old now. I'm not trying to shovel my driveway. I'm not gonna hold you. My knee gonna pop. My back gonna pop. Right? Like I didn't see none of the kiddies I saw you playing on my lawn the other day.
Yeah.
But it snowed today. You're not in this lawn that you play on trying to shovel my snow. There's a problem.
Why does this sound so personal right now?
Did we have a snow day?
No, last year.
Oh,
yeah,
so this past
no,
snow day.
no.
I thought I missed something too.
I thought no.
My fault.
Yeah, I was always that
work.
kid, man. All the other kids wanted to be outside playing. They wanted to be eating candy, playing games. I wanted to be in the room with the adults just listening. I just wanted to learn everything, hear everything I could. And it translated as I got older and I just started doing different things like cutting hair, you know, fixing stuff. I worked in construction, just any skills that I can learn. Fishing, so I know how to get my own food. Like just anything that I can learn how to do, I want to learn it. Yeah.
I just recently learned to cut hair. Well, about a year or two ago, I started cutting hair because of the pandemic. So I couldn't go to the barber shop. So I started cutting my own hair, and I was in the house all day, so I wasn't worried about looking bad. But after about a few months, you learn how to cut your own hair, and it's just another skill. Like when you have a kid, you have a son, you can cut his hair. You don't got to spend $25-$30 a week to get his haircut. So
Yeah.
small things like that.
Yeah. Anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang.
So you guys know else?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like putting stuff together, right?
Right.
No, I'm just randomly trying to find stuff on IKEA or Amazon. Like, let's order it. I just want to put it together.
I be doing that all the time. I may not even need it. I'm just like, I just want
I
to
just want
prove
to put
that I
something
can do what
do
I
it,
do.
man.
Bro, I'll be looking for an excuse to pull my drill out.
without the instructions, though. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't.
What?
Yeah, like I'll look at it. Okay, like it looks like this in the picture. All right, let's go.
Hey,
right?
do y'all have a bunch of non-functioning furniture at your
Look,
house?
it might be missing a lot of screws.
One big cabinet that I just ordered.
Okay.
Look, it might miss some screws, but if it looks like the picture,
Yeah, I'm like,
Whoa,
I'm like,
nah.
it works. I mean, like some of them screws,
Okay,
they're
next-
extra anyway. You guys are haters.
Wait, is Elon the
I
only one like
agree.
that, or do we all read instructions? Is that
Bro, I read instructions.
okay?
I read them, but they'd be so confusing sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like they're
I'm
so
confused.
instructed. Like it's not simplified anymore. Like
Sometimes,
put
right.
part A into part C. No,
Right.
it's put part A, find socket D, and put it into C. But
No, what I will
socket
say
D-
is the pictures do not be good
Not at all.
in instructions anymore. But I'm okay with instructions.
I'll just look at the box, man.
Yeah, I'm never asking you to put together for me. Okay, so we talked about core values in ourselves. What do you get when they get you? Now let's flip that question. What do you want from them?
That's easy. Nurturing, right? Being able to nurture, right? Take care of me, because I know you're always going to be taking care of me, right? I'm going to be taking care of you.
Yeah.
Take care of our children when we have children, right?
Yep.
That's biggest thing. But hard working as well. If I'm a hard worker, I need you to be a hard worker.
Yeah.
Can't have a slouch next to me. You're gonna rub off on me, and then now we're both slouches, and now we both broke.
I smell a TikTok.
Come on now. Yeah, I mean those are really two big things. Be nurturing, be hardworking, just like I am hardworking.
Yep.
Take care of me, I'll take care of you. You work hard, we work hard, we gonna be rich.
You can say that again.
Two things. Just I think loyalty and just like you said, nurturing, and not three things, and like just understanding, like just understanding, just like where I am that day or how I'm feeling or the kind of day that I've had, or being able to understand where I'm at, and then the other two are kind of self-explanatory: loyalty, nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd probably say hardworking. That's definitely, you have to have that work ethic, just because I know I have my lazy days, but
Yeah.
on the days I'm productive, I'm like extremely productive on those days. So I need you to be able to match that energy right there.
Yeah.
And then also I would say, what's the other word I want to look for? Independent. And it sounds different because you're in a
You
relationship.
all in my list right now. Get on my list.
It sounds different because you're in a relationship, so you're supposed to be like. Some people think it's dependent, but the word you're really looking for is interdependent. And a lot of people just go from independent or dependent, but they don't reach that stage of interdependence.
Yes.
And what that really means is you guys are actually building off of one another. And you're not just doing everything by yourself. So it's like you can do everything by yourself if you need to,
But you're choosing.
but you're choosing to work with somebody else to build a stronger foundation.
That's good.
So I'm like, I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. And
I'm gonna add that to my list.
We gotta start.
Somebody get you in
we
there.
gotta
Put
start
it on.
treating like wedding rings as Super Bowl rings, right? Like we gotta be a team for you to get this ring.
Ooh.
Come on now.
Want me to go in them
but-
pockets?
hey,
Let me
let me
Hey. And I think the other biggest thing is just somebody who has a light attitude or enlightening attitude.
Yeah.
Airy attitude. I think that's what I'm looking for. Where they're serious, but they're not too serious.
Yeah.
Because life is already hard. It's already difficult as it is. I don't need that in a relationship too. Like this should be like my comfortable space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to be comfortable with one another. And if I can't find that within you, I might as well go be by myself at that point.
Absolutely.
All right.
You got to be clean.
Yeah.
You cannot. I can't do dirty. I'm sorry. I can't say it no other way. I can't hold my tongue. You got to be clean. Outside of that, let's see. A lot of what you were saying about being interdependent. I need somebody who has their own life. You know what I mean? It can't just be when I come home, you've been sitting there waiting for me and done nothing all day. Like, I want you to have your own aspirations and dreams and go after them. And how can I support you? You know what I mean? How can we come together at the end of the day? Like, hey, I'm building this. Let's build this together type thing. I need somewhere where I can come lay my head at night because I'm a go-getter during the day. So sometimes I'm a little messed up at the end of the day. So I need a safe place to come to. I need somebody with vision, man. I'm a giant slayer. I need somebody who can give me giants so I can go kill them and bring the head to you and throw it on the floor and say, what's next?
That's hard.
It's what it is. I need it.
I'm gonna take that one too. I'm gonna
You
put
wanna
that.
put that on
I'm
your
put
list?
that on
Can we
my
get the
list.
Throw all of this down.
Update these lists.
And some slingshots.
Yeah. I temper it when I'm on camera, but they can tell you I'm a goofball. Like I have
100%.
a humor, huh?
100%.
Yeah, like I'm a real goofball. So somebody who can handle that. Yeah, you gotta be loyal. I don't want to have to question your loyalty. If I do, it's a deal breaker. And yeah, and I'm just gonna snatch all the rest of the stuff from y'all list too and put that on there. But I think those are the main things for me. Yeah. So, where we at on time? We getting there. I'm gonna ask y'all one more thing, then we'll take some questions from the ladies. Advice to a young man or any man of any sort, you all being in relationships, what would be your advice to somebody who is looking for something like what you all are building at the moment? What would be your advice to them? How to go about it, or what they should be looking for? Any of those things.
Focus on you.
Yep.
Biggest thing is like you're trying to look and like focus on yourself. Be the person you want to be first before you look for anybody else, right? Make sure you are in love with who you are before you try to give your love to anybody else, right? I think the biggest thing that I was fumbling with going into college as a freshman, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna find somebody that's for me. This, you gotta look at this, you gotta look at, but I'm just like, what do I look like?
Yes.
Like, what are my goals? Like, what makes me happy, right? And then again, I was in that healing stage, right? So I was like, I had to build up to, like, I think Kiana said it, where she was like taking myself out on dates, right? Like spending some me time, like finding out what I like, what are my hobbies outside of playing ball, right? Because ball was like, oh, it was okay. I was losing love for it, so I needed to find the love in something else. Like, do I like script writing? Do I like reading? What is it that you like, right? Build yourself up, find out who you are, then go find the person that can complement that.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just piggyback off of that for sure. Like, just you have to know who you are, and I think a lot of men nowadays think that they're gonna find a girl who's gonna complete them.
Yep.
And it's not that. It's the complete opposite. If you take it back to the Bible, God took Eve out of Adam's rib.
Yep.
It wasn't the opposite way.
Yep.
So you shouldn't be looking for a woman to complete you. You have to be complete as a man, and then you find your woman. And so you have to just like find yourself, get your life together. Don't worry about trying to go find a girl who's gonna complete you. You know, you need to go work on yourself, and eventually, when you are ready, you will find someone.
It's not two halves coming together; it's two wholes.
Holes,
Right.
exactly.
Right. So,
Holes.
I'm gonna piggyback off these two gentlemen right here and their sentiments, what they said, because it's kind of the same. You really got to understand who you are as a person and finding out who you are outside of somebody. Because I don't know who else, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were just like, if my significant other left me tomorrow, I don't know who I am outside of them. So you got to be able to know who you are before you get into a relationship. And I'm actually going to piggyback off a topic you guys talked about in your relationship at the live event.
Yes.
I talk about making a list of who you want in a person.
Yeah.
And actually, it's crazy you guys talked about that because I talked about that with so many guys and like that I work with all the time. And I tell them to make a list of what you want and be specific as possible.
Yeah.
But make the list with God's hand. Because it's one thing for you to make your own list.
Yep.
And it's not going to be anything that God has intended for you. But when you make a list with God's hand, it's everything He wants for you. He knows that you need, and it's actually going to make you more of a complete person.
Yeah.
So it's actually taking that time, getting into that, what that means for you. And then once that list is made, I always tell people, make it, put in a list, put in a drawer and lock it away. Don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Leave it up to God.
Yeah.
Because now it's not up to you any longer.
You just stole what I was going to say. I was going to say let go and let God. Yeah.
Actually, to piggyback off of that, right, real quick, I think the biggest thing that people have to understand about that part, right, which where you said like, if my significant other, jeez, what's wrong with me today? Left me, I wouldn't know who I am, right?
Yeah.
And some people, men or women, right, some people use that like to like walk all over you, right?
Right.
So you have to know who you are. You have to be, because people get into relationships to manipulate you that way. And you do not want to be manipulated in a relationship. You will not be able to recover from that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You got something, Julian?
no. Okay.
You sure?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Are you about to open up questions yet?
No.
I have one quick question. Once you finish your thought, I have a question.
I want to go back to what you were talking about with the list real quick because I've been dealing with that. So earlier this year, God dealt with me on the whole list situation, and I followed it to a T at the start. Ripped my list up and I said, "What's your list?" And over time, He slowly began to reveal to me what His list was for me, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good. Were you? I didn't even think about that one." And I took His list, but then I started to mess up again because what I started to do was look around me at all the, the women I knew or anybody who I thought it could be, and holding His list up next to him. Is that you? Is that you? And looking for them. And it was always no. And it wasn't until I put that list down that He started to reveal to me the stuff that I was seeking.
Right.
And I won't get into that, but yeah, don't, after you do that part you were talking about with the list, don't then try to take His list and say, okay, I can go find him now. No, completely put it in His hands, and let Him take care of it.
Yep.
Question.
So I'm gonna go back to you, E, because you had talked about this, the Super Bowl rings of
Come on now.
relationships. The Super Bowl rings.
What Aaron Donald say?
Give me
Ring
mine.
Give me my ring.
Give me my ring.
Yes.
Oh, so when it comes to that moment in that time when you actually say you want to make that commitment official, that this is gonna be my lifelong partner, what does that look like? Like, is there anybody close to that?
Yes.
process?
So my biggest thing is it's gonna look like a lot of physical therapy of the knee. Right? You're gonna have to do that. I think it's gonna be looking like a lot of just preparedness. I'm gonna start stressing on life after the wedding, not more so the wedding.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? household, right? Money, like just different things, right? I'm gonna be stressing more on just being prepared for after the wedding, after the honeymoon, right? Not so much. The wedding's gonna be okay. We're gonna be taken care of. I have respectable people around me that's gonna help me make the right decisions. But after we do this wedding, how are we gonna interact? I think we're gonna be fine living with each other.
Yeah.
I think it's more so like finances, right? When children come into the picture, right? She wants amphibians in the house. I don't. Right? My dog Tucker that I don't have yet is gonna be enough. Why? Like we already dealt with the cat. You want a snake or a lizard? You're kidding me, right? So, or chickens in the backyard. That's what I'm worried about, Jordan.
Chickens in the
That's what
backyard.
comes with the ring. Chickens in the back, right?
But you get eggs every morning, bro.
That's why I'm just like it's but I also don't want to wake up to like. So that's what comes with the ring for me, right?
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't be seeing no yolks in my eggs. Get that. Okay. All right. Oh, did you want me to answer that?
I mean, I'll add something to it.
Did
Just
that answer your question? Though?
it did answer my question, and I think the other thing for me is just like knowing you have the responsibility of somebody else's life in your hands now.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that
Definitely.
kind of terrifies me a little bit when you're making that full commitment. Is like when you're in a relationship, it's like they can still do what they need to do and survive, even if you're not around. But once you say you make that commitment to them, it's like I'm taking care of you the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. And that goes back to like that scripture about the woman submitting to her man and him loving her like Christ loved the church. I think that's kind of how you can know that you've arrived at that moment when you say to yourself, I will do anything for that individual. So yeah. So the ladies are ready to start asking us some questions. So this part of our show is called questions from the audience. Our audience today are the ladies, so they're going to give us some questions.
All right, I'm trying to stump y'all like y'all trying to stump us. So you guys are talking about marriage. We're talking about being young Christians, and let's talk about intimacy and dating as young Christians. Do you believe in waiting until marriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very simple. Yes.
And it was different. It was interesting for me because I mean, before I got into my current relationship, my past relationship, it was an intimate relationship.
Yep.
And then this one, like I said, she was already in her journey with Christ. So she had already made the commitment, like it's nothing happening before marriage.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, and I'm coming out of a fresh relationship where like the sin was all there. Like, and you go into a whole new relationship, it's more holy. I'm like, ooh, this is different.
Big change.
It's a huge change. But I think it came down is this person worth it for me to make that commitment to her and to God?
Yes.
And it was. So now I'm on the side of there should be not that intimate to see that type of intimacy before marriage.
Yes. Well said. He well said.
Yeah, what's that, Jordan?
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I agree.
Say.
You want to take that?
Y'all want me to bail y'all out?
Okay, no. Okay, so you know, it's different adventures, right? That people should experience, right? For me, no, right? I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, but being able to have that connection, I feel like is very important because a lot of marriages end because of that.
Okay.
Right. I'm not saying my marriage would ever end because of that, but it's just a connection that ties into all the other things, right? Like the communication. It's just a connection that like it is very important to make a relationship run very strong, like, you know, just keep on going.
Okay.
So it's just, in my opinion.
So what I'll say is I can see both sides of the argument. So for the waiting before marriage, I can see why that works. Obviously, it teaches discipline for the biggest thing, and just control, self control. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't really agree with waiting until marriage. Like going off what you said, it's a big part of a relationship. It's huge. It's a big part of it. I don't believe in doing it like immediately. I think you gotta wait some time until obviously you guys both realize you're serious about this, and then you go into it and do what you want. But I just think it's such a big part of a relationship, and testing the waters is important, because if you go your whole relationship and you get to that point and you realize there's no chemistry there, then it can be
detrimental.
It can be a big part and detrimental to the relationship.
Yeah.
So,
like the biggest thing I think when you look into that is, can I see myself raising a child with you, right, forever?
So
If
you're
yes,
looking more at the consequences of the actions.
Yeah,
Can you handle that?
yeah.
Okay.
right.
So the only thing I'll say for me was, if you'd asked me that question maybe a year ago, my answer would have been a lot different. It was because of my walk with God and the reverence that I developed for him that I began to ask myself, how can I sacrifice for you, God, on a daily basis? And that was one of the things that I arrived at. So my favorite scripture, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present yourself as a living present your body as a living sacrifice to him. And it goes on to say it's your reasonable duty. So for me, it's a way on a daily basis that I can just sacrifice for the God that I love. Yeah.
You guys talked about admiring the qualities of a hardworking woman. Can a woman be more ambitious and successful than you? Could that affect pride or insecurities as a man?
Go get that money, baby.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I want to
Yeah.
be a stay-at-home dad. You feel me? Like,
But I think that goes more towards the so Key was talking about in one of the episodes the masculine thing versus the feminine side. I don't mind you doing that, but don't try to temper me as a man while you're doing that. I don't mind you making more money than me. I don't mind you having, a bigger, platform than me, or whatever the case is. I want to support that. But don't then start treating me like less of a man in my own home because of your status.
Right.
yeah, like I think do what you got to do, mama. So I'm hardworking, so I want you to be hardworking and get that cash.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think like I invite it because then I'm coming to you like, how can I make more money too?
Yeah.
Right. But it's also I also have that competition factor where I'm just like, word, we will never treat anybody like less than, right? But word, you making more money than me.
And that's what I was going to
this
say.
quarter?
It can actually
Word.
elevate you as a man.
So I think so too.
Because you're like, dang,
Let's get it. Yeah, right.
20,000 more. I gotta get higher.
All right,
I gotta step up.
so like this vending machine, I'm gonna start working on this. Because by the end of the quarter, we gonna put our paychecks together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think 100%. If I'm saying that somebody I want, I gotta be okay with if that's the situation. If she's making more money than me, she has higher ambitions than me, because all that means is gonna push me to work harder.
Yes.
But like you said, the biggest thing is if you're gonna do all that, don't try to belittle me as a man at the same time.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna be there to support you, and if you're gonna do that, I'm expect to get treated right too.
Yeah.
Like I want to get spoiled sometimes. You feel me? Like
Come on now.
you gonna have all this money,
Yeah.
share the wealth. But she should probably also have the expectation, if I'm gonna be up the grind like this, I'm not gonna have a man who's not gonna be able to do the same.
Exactly.
So if I'm saying I want that, I gotta be able to do that.
Belittlement is the key to this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are so afraid of. I can have a woman make more money than me. Forget that. Make more money. Come on, boo boo.
Yes.
Make more money than me.
What the girl say? Yes.
Her, like make more money than me, because guess what? Like, I love you, right?
Yeah.
I want you to like succeed. I want to see you happy. I want you to have that sense of interdependence,
And that's on what?
There you go.
right? Just know. Coming back at you.
And I want the type of woman that can look at me on my lazy days and be like, "You being lazy today, my boy? Like,
Facts.
You know, not if I have one day, but like, you know, if I'm developing lazy habits,
yeah.
I
Too
want
many
her to
days
be
in a
able to
row.
look at me and tell me that, because I'll be like, yeah, you know what, you're right. I need to go chop some wood or do something.
You ever chop some wood, bro?
Yeah,
It's hard work.
it is. It's backbreaking.
Man.
All right, what we got?
All right. So a lot of women in the dating world feel like chivalry is dead.
Mm.
What would you say to those women, and what would you say to men in the dating field?
Did you look at Christ Culture, the podcast? We let the women go first,
They went
Yeah.
first.
even though they wanted us to go first. Like, chivalry isn't dead. I feel like, again, it goes back to the losing recipes. Yes, there's a lot of things that are being misconceived, but I don't think chivalry is dead, right? But it also comes back to the respect factor. I think humans in general are losing respect for each other, man or woman, right? And I think that's why we have things like this, right? To have more conversations, to have different perspectives in the air. But chivalry is not dead, right?
Not
I'm
at
still open the door for you. I'm gonna still make sure I'm right, walking on the right side. But I think those recipes need to be taught to others, right? So they can stop seeing the young boys of the world and
Absolutely.
look to the Calvins and the Jordans and the Julians and the Emmanuels of the world.
Appreciate
right?
you putting my name in.
Of course, man. I got you. I got you, right? I think there's less of this out there,
Yeah,
and that's
especially
why
from our generation.
we're losing the recipes and the idea of chivalry being dead. It's not dead, okay? It's not.
So, but I think I'm gonna say something. I think. Should I
Hold that
wait?
thought.
I wait. Yeah, I heard it.
I think you're.
Oh, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
I think chivalry is dying, and I don't think it should. I think it just goes back to this upcoming generation, but it's all about what we're seeing in the media, and they're not teaching us to be chivalrous. They're teaching us to go get the bag, chase the bag, and go have a bunch of girls on your side, and you know, and get that money and get those shoes and everything. You know, young boys and all that stuff.
That's the picture that's being painted.
That's
for
what's
us.
being painted, and so this is what we're growing up, and this is what we're seeing. And the second you step outside of that, you're considered a simp or a lame, and so chivalry is dying.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be, but it is, and I think it comes back to Christ culture. That's right here, just kind of having conversations with other men,
yeah.
having that relationship with your father, having a relationship with God, and you'll see how you're supposed to treat a woman. But you can't get that from culture.
Yeah,
Facts.
So.
It's crazy. You literally took the words I was about to say, Julie. I was going to say the exact same thing. That I don't think it's dead, but like you said, it's dying.
Yeah.
It's definitely a dying thing right now. And the reason I say this is because my first serious relationship, it was certain things that I just didn't really think about that should be like a common thing for me.
yeah,
Opening up your woman's door,
yep,
you know, making sure she's always on the inside whenever you're walking.
yes.
And you know, making sure she's always taken care of in any situation. It's like little things like that. I wasn't a parent of, and I think it was just because part of it is what you see growing up, but another part of it is what you see in the media nowadays. Like Julie was saying,
right.
and a lot of the things when it comes to media and these, I'm not a fan of it. The way rappers and certain football players and athletes, I don't mean just single football players, just athletes in general, have been not marginalized, but had the star power about them. And the platform they use, a lot of these young kids are just looking at them
Yep.
instead of going to, you know, people like
Day-to-day.
in this room right now.
Yeah, day to day.
You know, people who are on that certain ground, but not just the day-to-day folks, but just people who are living in Christ's image.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest problem is we got to make sure that we're showing the next generation what it means to what it really means to treat a woman. And it's just certain little things that you should continue to do, but it starts with train the next generation to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we're doing a good enough job at that right now.
I would definitely agree with that. I agree with everything y'all said. Chivalry is not dead. The day a woman commits to me is the last time she's going to touch a door when I'm with her. That's the last day she's going to have to worry about being protected. I got you. That's the last day you're going to have to worry about money. You can still have your own job, do what you want to do, but that's your money. I got the house. So no, I don't think it's dying, but even with my mindset now, I didn't always have that mindset. I had to learn it from somewhere. So yeah, I think this stuff like this is important. just to share those thoughts from a Christian perspective, from a strong, black man, a strong man in general, that this is actually the correct way to go about it. This is the correct way to treat your woman, to open those doors. When you go into a room with a bunch of other people, you should be whispering in your woman's ear, "Are you okay? You need something?" Just all those little nuanced things that you have to learn. Yes, I don't think it's done. I think that's a good place to call the quiz for today.
Oh, we got
Oh, all right, they got one more question.
This is the question right here, guys.
All right. So this is the last question. As a man of God in this society, what does it mean for a woman to submit to her husband?
Actually, I want to start off with that question.
Go ahead.
And the reason I want to start off with that question because me and my girlfriend Lily had this conversation 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we were watching a sermon together, and the sermon had talked about that. And I asked her afterwards, would you be willing to submit
Yes.
as a wife? And she was very hesitant about the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And her biggest hesitancy about it was, would you be able to lead me as a man? So now it's like, now I got to take a personal reflection to my life. And am I doing everything right to be the person that she needs me to be so that she can live the life that she deserves to have?
Yep.
And I think that's what it means to, as a man of God, to have your wife submitted to you, is you have to be the person that she needs you to be, to make sure that she's always going to be taken care of, but she's always on the path to a better and faithful life.
Absolutely.
Well
said.
Yeah.
Well said. Y'all got anything to add to that?
Honestly, he said what I was gonna say. It just falls back to, am I gonna be the type of person you're willing to submit to?
Yeah.
Am I gonna be that leader that you need? Am I gonna be that dominant person that you need in your life? If I cannot be that, then I don't expect you to submit to me. Right? So yeah, you said everything for real.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, there's two types of leadership. One's positional, meaning you got that position because of whatever title, whatever your knowledge base is. So that position was given to you. The other type of leadership is when people voluntarily follow you. And that's the type of leadership I think the scripture is talking about. So for me, if a woman is submitting to me, it's very simple. You're submitting to me, but I'm submitted to him. So you submitting to me is submitting to him.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I'm a good enough man to be following him, I think it's okay. You know what I mean? I think you don't have to worry about me being overbearing. Me trying to, you submitting to me is not me bossing you around. It's simply being a good leader and keeping him first, leading the household, providing for the household.
Definitely.
You backing up my decisions as the man of the household. And when I'm not making the best decisions, you coming to me as my wife and telling me those things.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, if you submit to me, you're really just submitting
To God's
him.
word.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So I think that's a good place for us to stop today. I
Another
appreciate you
good-
gentlemen for joining me at the Christ Culture Cave today. And hopefully somebody was blessed by what it said. We out.
Sure.
Peace.